Good afternoon, participants. Welcome to the live session for the course Research Methods in Social Sciences and Agricultural Extension. Our instructor, Professor Saikat Maji, sir, is here with us, along with the TAs, Ms. Shalu Srivastava and Ms. Priyanka Roy. So those who have a very good internet connectivity can directly join on Zoom and interact face-to-face with the instructors and the TAs. Others can watch the event on YouTube and post the queries on the YouTube chat. Sir, we got a few questions received through the Google response sheet. Can I share that screen for you?
Okay.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Are you able to view the screen, sir?
Yes, I can.
Sure, sir. So the first question is how to develop new scale. In research, what are all the steps involved in that process? That's the first question, sir.
Okay, so whether we need to wait for the participant, I don't know that how many participants are here.
Yeah, right now nobody has joined, sir. Maybe we will wait for 1 or 2 minutes and then start, sir, addressing these queries.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, sir. Meantime, I will also check on the YouTube, sir, whether anybody has joined and watched the event.
Okay.
One student is watching the event on YouTube, sir. So I asked him whether he is having any doubts or not.
Okay.
Waiting for his response, sir. So one student, Ajay Raj, Mr. Ajay Raj has joined on Zoom itself. Ajay,
Okay.
do you have any queries? Can you unmute yourself? Sometimes as the event progresses now, sir, then they will ask queries, sir.
Okay.
So I posted all the questions on the Zoom chat itself, sir. Hope you are able to view those questions, sir.
Yes, Murali, yes. I can read it. So I think I should start to answer this question.
Yes. Let's start with these questions first, sir.
In between, then we'll answer the specific question.
Definitely, sir.
So the first question is that how to develop a new skill in research and what are the all the steps involved in this particular process. Okay, so I think only in our course we introduce the basic part or the only the some limited part of the scale development, because scale development itself is an it's similar like a course. Okay, so in especially in our agriculture or any other social science discipline, scale development generally have multiple courses. Okay, so So for the purpose of the course, okay, so the new scale can be developed for the any for measuring any psychological behavior, whether it is an attitude, whether it is an opinion. So if you people already went through these particular courses, so by now you will be I think I am sure that you already heard this particular thing, that scale development, okay, scale development itself, it is an tedious job. Tedious, not a tedious job, it is an long work. Okay, and it generally started with the collection of the statement. Okay, first you have to decide that the topic or the particular construct area on which you are trying to develop the scale. Okay, so whether you understand the all aspect or all round aspect of this particular area or not. Okay, so fast understanding and having or gaining knowledge the all-round aspect of this area. Like if I give the example of the farm bill. Okay, so that was one of the most recent in agriculture, the most one of the controversial topic. Okay, that or controversial bill which was later revoked by the government. Okay, so there was people in the support of the, or farmers in the support of the farm bill, and there were stakeholders who are on the oppose of the farm bill. Okay, so you remember whenever I talked about the attitude scale development or the scale development process itself, I told that most of the scale development process was introduced in the form of the development of the attitude scale. So let's take the example of the attitude scale itself. Okay, so now for developing that particular scale, first we have to select the construct area. So that is here the attitude towards the farm bill. Okay, so now so you should know that who are the stakeholders who are going to affected by this farm bill, or who are the beneficiaries of the farm bill, and what are the main important aspect or of the means, what are the regulation which was proposed under the farm bill. So that is very important for development of the statement. Okay, so the scale development first start with the understanding of the construct area. Okay, and it generally followed with the collection of the statement. Okay, so now this collection of the statement, it is a tricky job. Okay, why it is a tricky job? Okay, because if you are dealing with some new particular construct, okay, so you have to be very innovative to develop the scale statement. Okay, you must remember the scale development, though it is a statistical or structured process, but okay, so you have to, there is an inbuilt innovativeness required by the students to actually develop the scale. Okay, and nowadays especially, okay, so a lot of scale, if you look into the research landscape in India, a lot of scale are coming up. Okay, most of them are the repetitive one, some of the scale are the innovative one, or on the new construct area. Okay, so if you are dealing with it, and also I should repeat that in social science there is an absolutely no requirement that you should not use the repetitive scale, because the in case of the social science research, most of the scale or most of the measuring instrument have lack of the, or have limitation in terms of the universality, means they are not applicable into the all situation, or better to say they are more applicable to the particular research situation. Okay, so as the research situation, or as the socio-cultural situation, or as the field situation changes from the places to places, even in between the districts also, there will be different totally socio-cultural context. Okay, so the scales applicability always in the question. Okay, so you have to be sure the applicability of the scale by the process of the testing the relevancy, process of the testing the validity, reliability, all those things. Okay, so that come only when you are using a already developed scale. Okay, but when you are trying to develop a new scale, the first part, that after the understanding of the concept, you have to be very innovative in this particular job. So here the job is more like an artistic job. Okay, to how you are crafting the statement. Okay, so once you come up with a pool of statement, then next step is the screening of the statement by following the Edward 14's criteria. Okay, so I think as a part of this course, I already introduced, or I already discussed about this, what are those 14 criteria, and also I presented the explanation of this particular criteria by each of the criteria, discussing on the each of the criteria separately. Okay, so once you are collecting, or once you are done with the pooling of the statement, then you have to screen the statement based on this Edward 14 criteria, and that this part is the very tricky, this two part is the very important part. Okay, because rest of the process, that is much more like a structured process or mechanical process. Okay, so once you are done with this collection of the scale, generally we proceed with the relevancy testing. Okay, so if you remember when I discussed about the validity, I told that in case of the validity, there are three type. Okay, one is the judgmental validity, that is mostly we talk about the content validation, or there are the criteria validity is there, there are concurrent validity is there. Okay, so at this stage of the scale development, you can either use the content validation process, or you can use the this concurrent validity, because the predictive validity, scope of the predictive validity and scope of the criteria related validity, that is beyond the time of this particular, beyond the that cannot be done at this particular level. Okay, so once you are then you can, I already discussed that how to this to carry out the relevancy test. Okay, I discussed three method. I talked about the content validity index method. I discussed about the content validity ratio method. I discussed about the using this the mean relevancy score or overall mean relevancy score. But in total, those are basically a process of the pulling the judgment of the expert. Okay, so the relevancy is just at this stage. So once you are done with the relevancy, there are a number of criteria. Okay, if you're depending on the method you are using. Okay, so if your this item, okay, actually fulfill those particular items are retained. Okay, so that is the first step of the to come up or come out with a set of statement which may be the representative of the this particular construct area. Okay, then the next step generally followed, that is the preparation of the interview schedule. Interview schedule means the preparation of the item or the final item you selected to this relevancy method, and that is in up to this stage. Okay, so it is the involvement is from the part of the researcher, okay, who collected the items or the statement from the for maybe the secondary literature, for maybe the theory, or for maybe the his own understanding from the their expert view, or the discussion with the expert who are apparently have certain understanding of this field. Okay, and but after this stage, okay, so the next step is that when you are developing a new skill, that is the ensuring the reliability of the skill. So reliability, okay, so many times I already discussed that I have given considerable time to discuss this reliability and validity. Okay, reliability is the consistent behavior of the skill, as well as the consistency of the scale. Okay, so consistent behavior means that how much stable the scale is. Means if you are developing a scale to understand maybe the attitude of a set group or a group of farmers on this new farm bill. Okay, so once you used, okay, so next time if you are using and if it is giving the same almost similar result, then I can tell that this the response pattern of the people in this scale is the quite stable. Okay, so you remember I think in the class also I gave that example, like I don't know that how many of you have seen this the weighting machine in the rowing machine in the railway platform. Okay, like you put a coin, okay, you stand on it and it give a reading. Okay, and the next time, okay, if you tried it for the next time, just at the next moment, if you put another coin and if you stand on it, okay, so it used to give the different score reading. Okay, so every time, so you are trying to get the scale value of your weight there. Okay, so you are getting different response. Okay, so that is the reliability aspect, that one part. Another part is the internal consistency. Internal consistency simply means that generally the scale development is generally done based on the classical test theory. Okay, so classical test theory, we are more interested in the people's response or average response in the overall scale, because overall scale is designed to measure the all aspect of the opinion or all aspect of the psychological construct toward the construct we are measuring, or psychological proposition we are measuring. Okay, so that's why, okay, so this stability of the scale as well as the internal consistency of the scale means how much the items are related or how much they are measuring the underlying construct. Okay, so that is very important. So it is done through the mostly through the reliability testing. Okay, so now before you actually go to the reliability testing, so once you collected the data from the probable respondent or simulated respondent, like if you are trying to this maybe you are trying to find the attitude of the farmers in the UP or Uttar Pradesh itself. Okay, so towards the farm bill. Okay, so and you will study maybe the 5 district of the farmer. You will select the 500 farmer from the some district. Okay, so simulated response. Okay, maybe from a particular place who may not be your final, or who are not, or who will not be the part of your final this data collection process. Okay, so but who are similar, very similar in terms of the characteristics. Okay, they are generally in that among those population it is generally administered. Okay, and after the administration, the first step is the item analysis. Okay, so item analysis means, so now you already get the relevancy of the scale, okay, based on the expert judgment. Okay, so now when you are using a scale, okay, so there is two aspect. Okay, that a scale should be capable enough to discriminate between those people, okay, who hold certain type of psychological, maybe here we are talking about attitudes, okay, towards maybe, so we are talking the positive attitude towards the farm bill, and who hold actually negative attitude towards the farm bill, okay. And so this bit, particularly item analysis stage, ensure that these items in the scale, or the scale as a overall instrument, they are they are able to discriminate between the group of respondent who hold the different cycle, or who are different in their degree of agreement, or degree of this expression towards that particular psychological concept, okay. So it is generally done to the item analysis process, okay. So when you are using a instead of scale, when you are using a knowledge test, so we also go for the this item difficulty level also, because all you know that the people's response may vary according to the difficulty. Like, just to take the example of yourself, okay, you think back when you used to give the exam or competitive exam, okay, or maybe think back when you used to attend the interview process, okay, or maybe at present also you attend different viva, okay. So how about that your interview started with the, or interviewer started the interview with the, or viva with the very tough question, okay. So it generally ruins your the entire viva, okay. So that means the difficulty level of the questions are generally, or difficulty level of the items, okay, that may also affect the response pattern. And also the length of the item means, just you think about that, maybe a particular item have the, or particular this scale has a 50 items, okay. So maybe in the initial stages it is an general, or it is a common nature of the human being, okay, that the first stages, or that the first few moments, or the few minutes, okay, they generally have the better attention towards the question. They try to understand, internalize it, and then actually think about what is their actual response and try to do. But as they proceed in that particular answering the all the question, okay, so generally there happen to be the lose attention, okay. So they may not give that much thinking about the answering the question about in their true psychological state, okay. So that's why it is very important that at this item analysis stage you think about that how much, whether the items can discriminate between those people who may have the totally different this psychological psychological people, or psychological, maybe here we are talking about the attitude, so they have different attitude level or psychological construct level in that particular a psychological area or different object you are talking about, okay. And after you decide, and mostly it is done through there are a number of methods, okay. Item analysis can be done by using the item discrimination index, item difficulty index, or through the t value, okay. Now after this stage, okay, once you are confirmed with that the it is the final pool of item, okay, which have the proper relevancy, which have the proper item discrimination, which have the proper item difficulty, then we generally proceed with the reliability testing. Reliability testing, I already mentioned that it is the stability of the particular scale. And in the social science, as there is a lack of universality, okay, so every time you are using a scale, you have to look for that how much stable your scale is, okay. Even with the, because in the, even with the minute change in the situation, okay, the scale may not perform like before, okay, or may the performance of the scale may go wrong, okay. So that's why you have to look for the reliability testing. Now in the based on the reliability testing also, there are a number of criteria, means whether your item, each of the item you can look into how much they're contributing towards the reliability, okay, or whether they can improve the reliability, or whether they're decreasing the reliability. So once you separated those items which are not suitable for the reliability, or if you look into the whole scale, if it is not reliable, so there are a number of steps, okay, again, to improve the scale. So if it is cross the reliability coefficient, which is often taken as the 0.70 to 0.90, okay. So because you have to again remember, in the reliability testing also a tricky job, because the mostly we proceed with the convex alpha is one of the method of the reliability testing, or whether you use the internal consistency, also use the splitter method, okay. So sometimes the students have the tendency to think about like that, if they have a very huge reliability, maybe 0.95, 0.98, okay, so that is very good, but not, okay. So in case of the your reliability is crossing the 0.90 also, in case of scale development, that means there you have to think about that, whether it is because of the unidimensionality, or whether because it is of the multicollinearity effect, okay. So that's why, so you have to see about that your reliability coefficient are within the range, like different researcher, okay, vary in their opinion about the what should be the proper range, okay, but 0.70 to the 0.90 can be taken out, below 0.90 can be taking a good reliability coefficient, okay. If it is less than that, so you have to look for the changing the item, adding more item, okay. So I think already I discussed that in my classes, okay. So this is the total procedure of having a scale, okay. So in this level, apart from the reliability, you can, if you want to be sure about the validity of your scale, you can go for the concurrent validation. Means if your scale have the similar or the similar scale already existed, okay, you can look into the that how your scale is performing, okay, when you use the both scale together on the same population, okay, whether they can measure the same thing or not, or if there may be like I was talking about the attitude towards the farm bill, okay, so if there is any known scale available, okay, or if you utilize that for a particular population, it gives a certain reading, and you are using your scale also, that also gives the almost similar reading, okay, then you are sure that the scale is reliable as well as scale is the valid, okay, then you can proceed for the this using of the scale. But again, you have to remember, okay, this scale development, though it may looks like a mechanical process following a step after step, okay, but it is an innovative job, okay, so there is nothing like a perfect scale, okay, so there is whatever effort you put, okay, so there is always scope for the improvement, okay, so so that is the steps involved, okay, that in the scale development process, or you have to be very careful about how you can develop a new scale, okay, so that is about the first question. I don't know that whether any student is here or not, so if they are here, so they can they can ask for the further clarification also, or otherwise I will proceed to the next question.
Ajay Raj is here, sir. He's from Rajasthan Government Agriculture College. He's
Okay.
doing his BSc, and I don't know what query he wants to ask.
So, Mr.
Hey,
Raja,
can you unmute yourself and ask?
you can ask also directly, or otherwise we will look into again. So he is asking, I think I am a BSc Agriculture student from Rajasthan Government Agriculture College. So my doubt is this is important for me or not. Okay, so I don't get that what you are asking for, that whether attending this particular session is important or whether this course is important or not. Okay, so I will answer both of these questions, then assuming these two questions you are any of these two of you are asking. Okay, so the first part is that this course is basically for the student who are at the MSc level, or maybe beyond the MSc like PhD. Okay, because for understanding the aspect of this course, okay, so the content of this course, you need to have the certain knowledge. Okay, so if you are already completed the BSc and started with your MSc, so you may develop certain understanding about the research, because in agriculture we need to, the student need to carry out research at the MSc level as well as in the PhD level. So this course was primary audience of this course, which was expected that then mostly the MSc level student in the agriculture as well as the social science. Okay, so so from that particular part, okay, so I don't know that which particular year you are currently in the BSc. Okay, so if you are completed your BSc and you are looking for the joining MSc in a certain agriculture universities, okay, so then obviously this course is important, because you people are the ultimate target of this course. Okay, because most of the, I think nowadays, okay, so research methodology course is common in agriculture as well as in the social science discipline. Okay, but I think they need okay, so they used to learn it, or they used to, that their teacher, I think they used to teach this particular course to them. But this research methodology course is it's an very I mean, I say that very important course, because maybe certain courses you did in your MSc, or certain courses you did in your BSc, okay, so that may not have the immediate application. I'm not telling that that may not have application, but not have the immediate application. Okay, maybe when you are part of the any profession, that may come into your head. Okay, but this course, okay, that have the immediate application for completing your degree also, as well as in your if you are a professional in your profession also. So that way, obviously this course is important. Okay, second question is that second aspect of this particular session is that whether this joining this live session is important or not. No, from your evaluation point of view, it is not like that you have to join this live session. Okay, so it is mostly a student session for the assistance to the students. Okay, because you know, it is already, it's an online course. Okay, so there is very limited face-to-face interaction. Okay, though video lecture is there. Okay, but that is mostly you cannot interact with the teacher or the instructor at the time when the video was playing. Okay, so it is mostly standalone from your side. Okay, that you can obviously you can look into the video according to your convenience, okay, but you cannot directly interact. Okay, you can post a question in the forum, okay, where the people who are involved means me as well as my teaching assistants, okay, my PhD scholars, okay, they used to give answer or proper answer or detailed answer to those, okay. So that's it, okay. So that this live session is not important from your evaluation purpose, but it's important if you have any doubt, okay, if even if you don't have any doubt also, or if you are shy, okay, that to put your whether to I have to put this doubt in the online session or online forum or not, okay. So that's why whether if you don't have any doubt also, but or if you are shying away from putting your doubt also, okay, then also this live session is important from that particular point of view, that the doubt which you are not able to put here but you have in your mind, okay, that will be clear. Or maybe the doubt you did not think about, that this may be a doubt also, but someone has put that, okay. So from that point of view it is important, okay. So that those are the two aspects, that one from the intended audience of this course, and another from the importance of this live session, okay, apart from the, if you leave apart the evaluation part. Okay, so I think I'm right, Muraliji, that from evaluation it's don't have any implication, but from the your learning purpose it obviously has relevance. Okay,
Exactly, sir.
so if you are I mean satisfied, if you are satisfied with my reply, okay, you can write it here, or if you need further clarification, I can give further clarification also. Okay, I think he is writing okay, sir. So I take it as a positive. So I think I should go for the next question.
Yes, sir. You can proceed with the next question, sir.
Okay. So the next question is that in what situation would the exploratory research be more useful than descriptive or experimental research? Okay. So it's not a very means complicated question, okay. So because if you go through the lectures, okay, so I already described about the four type of the design, or broadly which we call the purpose. You can tell design, you can tell, okay, that what is the purpose of the exploratory research, what is the purpose of the descriptive research, experimental research, etc, etc. Okay, so the exploratory research, when I talked about it, I told that the exploratory research, mostly we carry out research to find out relation, okay. At least in case of the scientific research, there must be it should talk about the relation at the minimal, okay. It should talk about the relation between the two, at least two variables, okay. So now in certain situation, okay, so we do it by using the by following descriptive methodology, or by using the experimental research, okay, where we manipulate the independent variable. But that relation will be, between the variable generally come from the when you have certain knowledge about the phenomena, or there is certain theory already developed about that particular phenomena. Like if I talk about the group study and relation between the group study and achievement, okay, so there is an there are a number of research that we talk about the studying in the group may have some positive impact on your achievement, okay, especially those students who are introvert or who cannot interact well, or who have the language barrier and all those things, okay. So there are theories about those, okay. So there are theories about that positive reward instead of punishment, okay, that generally generate, or that generally leads to the more achievement, okay. So but there are certain situation, okay, where the maybe you are trying to deal with the, or you are trying to navigate a totally uncharted or totally sea or totally blue ocean, where though there is no example of the previous research. Because already I told in the when I discussed about the scientific research, I told that most of the research is basically they are cumulative in nature. Means it's not like that your present knowledge is totally come out of the blue, okay. It generally developed based on the previous knowledge. So that means research generally it the addition modification of the knowledge already available, okay. But there are certain situations, okay, in the social science also, like in the physical science, this type of situation are abundant, okay. In social science also this type of situation are abundant, but just the thing is that it is more complex and not easy to find, okay. But there are situations there where you actually don't not sure about the what are the variables. See, you can vaguely you can assume that there is certain problem in the social relation, but you cannot understand that what are the variables may be involved in this process. What should you should take as an independent variable, what you should take as a dependent variable, what are the extraneous variable which are affecting that particular dependent variable, okay. So this type of situation is there. Like if you take the example of the mental illness, okay, just to think about, okay, nowadays we as a country like India, okay, we start to recognize that mental illness. But just 10-20 years back. Okay, the most of the mental illness we generally take it as mostly they are laced with the superstition. Okay, so in that particular cases, okay, so you don't know that what are the factors which may affecting this particular mental illness. So because if you remember when I discussed about the metaphysical phenomena, means the this type of godly behavior or godly or the superstitious things, okay, which cannot be tested empirically. Okay, so we don't take it for the research purpose. Okay, but as we gain more understanding of this particular phenomena, okay, so we can understand that there are certain factors, okay, which cause this particular behavior pattern. Okay, so in that cases, okay, exploratory research is much more suitable. Means you are not sure that which are the variable actually available or involved in this process. Okay, or some new variable, or you want to have better insight into the phenomena. Okay, so in those particular situation, exploratory research is much more suitable. Okay, exploratory research does not look into the relationship between variable. It generally it is at the first level of the formulation of the hypothesis, or the formulation of the better to tell formulation of the problem. Okay, you want to be sure that what is the problem itself and what are the variables involved in this particular problem, so that you can form it into the hypothesis by through other research like descriptive research or the experimental research, and you can proceed for those particular things. Okay, so that's why the exploratory research is very important when you are dealing with this type of novice situation. Okay, so that is about the utility of the exploratory research. Okay, and generally the exploratory research followed with the this descriptive research and experimental research for the more better formulation or more better understanding of the problem involved, or the problem you are trying to find out. So it is very in the absence of the actual in the absence of the students. Okay, so who are interacting directly with it's like not able to or not sure that uh,
Yeah. So the event is also recorded, so the students may watch the event later on, sir. We'll
okay.
publish it on the portal, sir.
Ajay Raj again, he is asking, sir, who is sir or madam should teach from agricultural extension? So I am not sure what you are asking about. Uh, so I don't think this question is relevant to this particular course at this present level. Okay, so if you be much more, if you clarify it, okay, it will be much easier for us to answer. Okay, so the when you are clarifying it, will I think we'll proceed with the third question. So the third question that it's being asked that how do we determine the optimal sample size in agricultural extension research when resources are limited? Okay. So determination of the sample size, I think again in this particular aspect also we have two or three classes, or two or three separate session for the this what how to determine the sample size, what are the process, and also practically you tried that the sample size determination. Okay, so the sample size determination again. Okay, so it is this question was omnipresent when we are student also, and till now the people used to ask this particular student used to ask this particular question, and that's why when we were designing this course, we were decided to have quite a good discussion, or put quite a large discussion on this particular topic, that how to determine the sample size. Okay, so to remember you, I already to remind you, I already told that the sample size, determining sample size have a number of factors actually affect the that what should be the sample size. Okay, it depends on the power of the test, it depends on the level of the significance, it depends on the precision what you require. Okay, so it depends on the design, it depends on the number of variables. Okay, it depends on the that what statistical methods you are planning to use in the on your data. Okay, so there are number of factor which can actually affect the sample size determination. Okay, but in case of another, okay, the one of the sample size, all the sample size determination formula are based on the, it was started with the Cogram is one of the front runner in this giving that how to calculate the sample size. Okay, so there are formula which involve the power of the test, level of significance, okay, the variance of the this dependent variable. Okay, so those are the part of the Cogram formula which can be used. But so in case of the our mm, in case of the research of social science research, especially in the India, okay, so you will not you will face problem that to having data on the what this particular formula demand. Okay, so in that particular cases, especially, okay, most of the time, okay, if I talk about the agricultural extension, most of the time the student even don't know about, or the researcher even don't not sure about the what is the number of the farmers, or what is the number, maybe the for this student the study is about to start, this particular research is about to studying the farmers in a particular UP. Okay, so now you have the data about the population size of the UP, but you are not quite sure, or you are not exactly know that what is the number of the farmers in maybe in a particular district, or okay, so that data may not be available. In that cases also, when you are not sure of the population size also, I told there is a derivation of the problem formula, and I already this show you in the, or practically demonstrate you in the during the lecture that how to do that. Okay, by using the how to use the particular formula. Okay, apart from that, there are some short points also, like if there is some predefined criteria. Okay, but one thing you have to remember, one problem you generally face in case of the agricultural extension research. Okay, so that there will be a number of variable. Okay, there will be a number of independent variable, there will be number of dependent variable. Okay, so I already told that in case of the you are trying to, because it play a very important role, and also the level of the variable, whether your variable is a categorical variable, whether its variable is for continuous variable, then also the formula change. Okay, so there are separate formula for the categorical variable, there are separate formula for the continuous variable in sample size determination. Okay, so now once you are sure about that, okay, so now the problem is that, so there will be a number of variable in your research. Okay, so now which variable, on the basis of which variable you determine the sample size. I already told that, so the dependent variable measure of your research, okay, that generally is the best for your sample size determination. Now if you have a number of dependent variable only, so you have to calculate the sample size separately for the all the dependent variables. Okay, and then you just you can select the largest possible sample size. Okay, so that automatically this cover all the other variables which record maybe the less sample size. But I told that this sample size determination, okay, so it's mathematically okay, though it is very easy. Okay, but you have to be sure that your sample size is not too big, or it is not too small. Okay, if it is a small sample size, there is a specific problem. If there is a larger sample size, then also this waste of resources, unnecessary collecting information by putting in the people in the stress, all these things are there. Okay, which I already discussed in that. Okay, so in case of the you have whether you have limited resources or not. Okay, so sample size does not depend. Okay, obviously if you have the less resources. Okay, so because sample collection of the data from the sample is obviously required resources in terms of the time, money, all those things. Okay, but again you have to look for the level of accuracy you want to draw from your this survey research. Okay, so for that, okay, so you have to, and also there are a number of limitation, like you don't know the population size, you don't know the variance of that particular dependent variable which may be there in the among the population. Okay, so given those limitation, okay, I already demonstrated that the sample size for the 120 to 140, that is good for the MSc research. Okay, or that is good for the research. Okay, and I demonstrate it by using the this particular the Cogram formula. So that was in case of the your continuous variable. Okay, and there are also certain assumption. Okay, that continuous, how many, what are the standard deviation possible. Okay, so the how what is the scale you are using. Okay, so those things are there. But if you are not sure about this, or if you are using a variable which may be in the categorical level, so I already demonstrated the 384 will be your sample size. Okay, so again for the determination of the sample size, if you don't want to go through this all tedious formula, okay, so you can easily use some ready-made table available. Okay, so like there are already 1 second. 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 So okay, so there are already some table available to like Kejri Morgan formula there. Okay, Kejri Morgan table is there. Apart from that, there are other statistical table available which generally give you certain idea about the if your sample size is around this particular, if your population size is around this particular number of person. Okay, then what should be your popular sample size? And in that particular table, I already shown you. Also by using the Cogram formula, I already demonstrate that the 384 it is taken often taken as the golden number of the sample. Okay, so that is the way. Okay, but depending on the, again, if you don't like, if you are have the question is like that, if I have the limited resources, okay, so then you have to use the certain other criteria also, because I also demonstrate that it can be used, the sample size can be determined. There are other method like based on the number of variable you have, what are the statistical method you are going to use. Like if you are using the correlation analysis, so there is the 100 sample size must be there, or if there is a number of variable, okay, so 1 is to 10, 1 is to 15, and the sample size is important. Okay, 1 is to 5 is the minimal, and also, but there are question about those, because so there is nothing like the one point decision about that this should be the exact sample size. Okay, there are range available in between those particular range based on your resources. Okay, so you can select the particular sample size by using either the Cogram formula or by utilizing the Kejri Morgan table or the similar statistical table which are available or indicative of the sample size selection. So again, Ajay Raj is asking that this sir agricultural extension पे भी कोई से sir पढ़ाएंगे क्या? Okay, so Ajay Raj, it's this is not your the SWAYAM platform. Okay, so that I don't know that how many course of the agricultural extension are there in the SWAYAM platform. Okay, so this course I only handle this particular course. Okay, so I am not sure that how many course. Okay, but that must be there. Okay, how many course of this particular degree, because agriculture extension it is a degree program in MSc PhD. Okay, so there are a number of course involved in this particular degree. Okay, so I don't know that how many other courses are there in the SWAYAM platform. Okay, so but so this course I will handle. Okay, and maybe in future some other courses related to the agricultural extension will come. Okay, but at this point I am not in the position or not having the information that what are the course available in this particular total degree program. Okay, so you can for that particular purpose you can go through the SWAYAM platform or contact the SWAYAM team also in that particular, if you put okay query section. But at present I am not in the position to
Yes,
answer.
sir. So there is a search option on the SWAYAM platform. The students can type the keyword related to agricultural courses and then find out the courses, sir. Definitely, there must be a lot of courses on agricultural areas, sir.
Okay.
Right, sir.
So I will directly go to the next question. Okay, so that is what are the some best practices for designing effective survey question? Okay, so now there are what are there are not like an this I cannot provide like an one point suggestion that these are the some of the this step you have to follow, the which if you follow that then you can divide you can come up with an effective survey questionnaire. Because at the beginning of only when I talking about the scale, which is the part of the maybe a questionnaire, I already told that. So there is one part in the process which is mostly dependent on the statistical parameter of the, which is much more structured in nature. Means you have to use certain step, you have to use, and you have to ensure that there is minimal error by following the proper statistical procedure. But another part is always there, that is that come from your side, that is the innovative part or that innovativeness part. Okay, that is the artistic part. Okay, so now for designing an effective survey questionnaire, obviously, okay, so there are I can provide you some of the basic suggestion. Okay, that the firstly, okay, the I when I talked about the questionnaire as an instrument or the questionnaire as a instrument for your social scientific research, because most of the social scientific research that is either carried out using the interview schedule or that is carried out using the questionnaire. Okay, so now if I take it that you are only trying to talk about specifically about the questionnaire. Okay, so you remember the questionnaire is a standalone. questionnaire is a standalone instrument. Okay, so there will not, in case of the interview schedule, there will be the researcher or enumerator will be present, okay, to pose the questions or to get your answer, okay, to clarify on your question, on the question of the interview schedule. Also, those things will not be there in case of when you are using the questionnaire. Okay, so the first thing of the development of the effective survey questionnaire is that you should keep it minimal, or you should keep there should not be too much the outside information you are there asking for. Okay, you remember that the generally questionnaire have the start with the facet information. Facet information are, they may not have the direct relation with the your research problem, but that is important for the identifying the researchers. Okay, that those are the basically identification information. Then generally you go for the your problem information. Okay, like your socioeconomic variable, your psychological variable. Okay, so mostly in case of the social science research, okay, so we start with the facet information, then we proceed to the social information, because the purpose of the survey research especially is that to collect the information about the socioeconomic variable, and then some way correlate it with the psychological aspect you are trying to look into. Okay, so because of that, okay, so the your questionnaire, okay, always must have the optimal number of questions, because when you are doing the questionnaire again, okay, so too much length of the questionnaire I already discussed about those particular thing, okay, that generally affect the attention, or the affect the how much attention the response or the respondent can keep into when answering the questions. Okay, so that thing you should keep into the mind. Again, the questionnaire should be such that there is proper flow. It is as I am telling, that there will be facet information, there are socioeconomic information, there will be the psychological information. So it should not be such that it looks like a totally different section. Okay, there should be easy this transition from this one particular section to the another particular section. Okay, and apart from that, you should be careful about the questions. Okay, because the questions, so I think in some lecture, okay, I talked about the what should be the quality of your scale statement. Okay, there I talked about like that. Okay, that the statement of the question should not be such that, okay, it generally provide you double context, it is double barrel in nature, it is asking for the some social desirable information, or it is asking for the some certain type of personal information which generally offended the respondent. Okay, so now you may question like that. Okay, like here in case of the if you go for the research in the among the with the farmers, so if you ask them the even their income also, okay, they become very conscious once means once you ask this particular question about the income and all those things, so they become very conscious that why they are asking this particular question. Okay, so the asking the income is also sometimes taken as the very seriously by the farmers. Okay, so but there are so you leave apart the other psychological issues or other social issues. Okay, so those taboo information, those things you, so if you require it, okay, for your purpose of the study, so you have to keep it at the end of the questionnaire. Okay, and also in terms of difficulty also, questions should not be such that the respondent actually most of the question respondent don't know about. Okay, they have no idea about what you are asking for. Okay, so that is again problem. Okay, so that's why it generally start with the much easier information. That's why we add the facet information also. It generally help in the rapport building between the researcher as well as uh, the respondent. Okay, or it try to it help in the rapport building in terms of the problem you are trying to look into, and the researcher willingness to answer those particular questions. Okay, so this particular all this aspect, okay, if you are not sure, okay, so then you can again go through the particular discussion of which was there in case of the using a questionnaire as a part of the research instrument, how to carry out the interview, what should be the dress and all those things. Okay, and apart from that, the one thing we generally don't do in case of the research in India, especially in the agricultural extension field, okay, we mostly look into the reliability or the validity of the question in the which are part of the index. Okay, but apart from the index also, the entire questionnaire also have the certain entire questionnaire also may have the reliability, or you can check for the reliability and validity also. And apart from that, another important thing you should always keep into the mind, okay, that mostly, okay, so if you are designing a questionnaire for the research which will be sent to the farmers, okay, so that thing you have to be sure that, because this questionnaire are nowadays sent to the mostly to the online platform. Okay, like you use the Google form, you use the many other form building platform. Okay, so you have to be sure, or it is better that if you can put the question in there the mother tongue of the probable respondent. Okay, and Also you have to be sure the readability, because I think in certain classes I talked about the readability of the questions, say of your interview schedule or of your questionnaire. Especially it is important in case of the questionnaires. Okay, so you have to be sure that the questions which you are posing, that is according to the educational levels of the target audiences. Okay, so these are the certain step you can take. Okay, or you can, the precaution you can take when you are designing the questionnaire, like proper flow, like the readability of that particular question. Okay, putting the question in the suitable languages. Okay, checking for the reliability of that particular questionnaire. Okay, so all these things, if you take, okay, it generally adds on the effectiveness of the survey questionnaire. So I will go to the fifth question. So which is asking that what are the key differences between the reliability and validity, and why it is important to balance the both. Okay, so now so reliability and validity, they are separate aspect of a particular scale. Though generally, those particular reliability and validity is very important to ensuring the quality of the scale, as well as that whether your scale is actually measuring that particular behavior. Okay, so now when it comes to the validity is all about that whether you are measuring what you are thinking you are measuring. Okay, like in case of the physical or in case of the research in the physical science, it is very easy, or it is very, because most of our judgment are comparative in nature. We always, whether it is physical science or whether it is in social science. Okay, so we generally measure things by comparing. Like if you are measuring length of a particular stick. Okay, so you are basically comparing it with the standard available scale, which is known as centimeter, millimeter, meter, like that, and with the length of your stick. Okay, so now in case of the social research, okay, neither the scale is available. Okay, maybe in certain cases the scale is not available, and again the standard, that this is 1 meter, this is 1 centimeter, that is not available. But the measurement is again the comparison. Okay, so now, so that means, okay, first you have to develop that particular scale, and then you have to go for the measuring that particular psychological or sociological aspect and compare it with your scale. Okay, so now when you are measuring the scale, so in social science we mostly deal with the construct. Okay, the first thing, the construct are not directly visible or observable. So when you are measuring those particular construct, it is not as easier as a physical science. Okay, because you cannot see it, you cannot feel it. Okay, you have to derive it from the other phenomena. Okay, and second thing is that the construct are like, mostly when we talk about the opinion, attitude, like those things, okay, it seems like that those are totally discrete in nature. Okay, but actually the human behavior of the psychological aspect we are looking into, those are very very interlinked. Okay, so it is not always easy to separate out maybe certain part, or maybe you are talking about opinion, here I am talking about attitude. Okay, so it is not apparently easier to like when I talk about the volume and length, you can easily single out which I am talking about. Okay, but when I am talking about the opinion and attitude, okay, certain aspect of the opinion that may be the part of the attitude, in the later stage it become the part of the attitude. Okay, but certain attitude part, okay, that will become an opinion. Okay, when it actually cannot hold the consistency. Okay, so that means that psychological variable, they're interlinked. Again, there is a problem of the visibility of the variable. Okay, so because of that, okay, so you are not always not sure that which particular variable or which particular whether you are measuring that psychological aspect which you are supposed to measure. Okay, and also sometimes what happens, so I told that already, the psychological construct are very complex. Okay, they have a number of dimensions also. Okay, so the scale you are designing, maybe you are designing a scale which is unidimensional, but actually that construct may have multiple dimensions. Okay, so to ensure that, that's why, to ensure that your measuring instrument is actually measuring those particular dimension you are looking into, so the validity is very important part. So now validity basically tells about that whether your scale is the proper tool for measuring that particular instrument. Okay, so it is much more important. Okay, and then the come to the reliability part. So reliability is basically talking about whether your scale is behaving in a stable way, whether your scale is internally consistent. Okay, so those are the part of the reliability. So for now, take it as a the reliability is just the consistency of the your scale. Means every time you are using the scale on a particular population, whether it is coming out with the comparable this outcome or output. Okay, so that is the part of the reliability. So now when you talk about the this both of those things, okay, so validity, it is an inherent part of your scale. Okay, if validity is not there, so despite of having the reliability, it is of no use. Okay, now a valid scale, okay, so for having a good quality measurement, it must be reliable also. Okay, reliable means the scale or the measuring instrument that must be stable, like the example I was giving in the beginning, the waiting machine which was used to be there in the railway station. Okay, so that is the reliability aspect. Okay, so I can say that both the validity and reliability is very important for your measuring instrument. But first you have to ensure the validity, because it is the inherent part of your measuring instrument. Then you have to ensure the reliability part also. Okay, and both of them has the importance for a good quality measurement. Okay. Okay, so I will go to directly to the next question, that is asking that how do we decide whether to use a rating scale or a ranking scale in a particular study? Okay, so it is asking again, I will read that how do we decide when to use a rating scale or ranking scale for your uh, research study. Okay, so so I think I also have a proper also have a this slide for this particular thing. Okay, that how to decide that which one to use, whether you are used for the ranking scale, whether you are rating scale. Okay, so in case of the, okay, so generally in case of when you are looking for uh, the intensity of the expression, maybe with a psychological variable like attitude, opinion, and all those things, so we generally go for the rating scale. Okay, on the other hand, ranking scale is much more useful when you are looking for the priorities, when you are looking for the preferences. Okay, so that is from the usability point of view. Okay, so now from the so ranking and rating scale has the deciding on this. Okay, the first thing is that, so it should be based on the objective of your research, what you are trying to achieve. Okay, so that is the first part. Secondly, objective means like I talked about. Okay, like whether we are trying to measure the preferences, okay, whether trying to look into the intensity. Okay, but apart from that, you have to remember any some other particular aspect, okay, which basically help you to decide that whether to use the ranking scale or rating scale. Okay, so you know that ranking scale cannot handle a number of means when you are looking for the preferences of huge number of preferences. Okay, so then it's not generally it's generally not advised to use the ranking scale. Okay, because just you think, okay, if I ask about to if I ask about to just to, okay, rank the 10 ball, okay, based on their size. Okay, you can easily do it. Okay, now I just, if I increase the number of ball, if I increase the 50, then it will be little bit more difficult. Now if I increase it to the 100, then it will be much more difficult. Okay, so that's why, so when you have a number of things to be ranked, okay, so it is advisable that you use the this rank rating scale rather than the rank scale. That means when and also the sample size, when it is large, then also it is better to go for the rating scale, because whenever you are using the ranking scale and you are going for analyze the data, okay, then there may be a problem of the inconsistency. Okay, inconsistency simply means that's like there are three objects maybe. Okay, so a is, if someone is telling a is greater than b and b is greater than c, then it's always should be the a is greater than c. But that does not hold true in case of the social relation. Okay, but there is a certain limit that how much inconsistent in the a particular ranking or preferences may be. Okay, so those things, okay, again it is problematic when you have a huge number of items in your rating scale, okay, ranking scale. And also the ranking scale is administering ranking scale is much more time consuming. Okay, so and you just and lastly, okay, so deciding on the ranking scale and rating scale again depend on the statistical analysis you can use. Okay, like in case of the ranking scale, as the independence of the items or the choice of the person towards the ranking items are not independent of each other. Because just to think, if there are three aspect or three particular thing you have to rank, like a, so once you rank the first rank, okay, so the first rank will not be allotted to anyone. Okay, so that means, okay, the choices are not independent of each other. But most of the statistical analysis, they assume the independent relation. Okay, like you are in case of the rating scale. Okay, so if you give a fifth rating or 5 rating, five, when you are using the 5-point rating scale, if you are give a rating of 5 for the first item, you can give the second item also 5 point. Okay, so there is no the your choice of your choice in the next item or next statement in the scale are not affected maybe by your the choice to the previous of the this next item. Okay, so it basically, when you are using the ranking scale, as it is dependent in nature, so it violate the assumption of the most of the statistic parametric statistics. Okay, so there is a limited number of you can actually carry out in case of when you are the ranking scale, or which you are not using the independent data, or independent, or when you are violating the independent nature of the choices in case of the statistics. Okay, so you have to keep into the mind all those things. The first is the research objective, then the type of the sample you are looking into, number of items you are trying to get priority. Okay, whether it is an agreement item, or whether you require simply the preferences. Okay, and along with that how much statistical analysis or manipulation or statistical interpretation you want to draw from this particular your research objective. Okay, so that is very important just to decide that whether to use the ranking scale or whether to use the rating scale. Okay, but as a common guideline, mostly for the priorities, constants, or all these analysis, we generally go for the ranking scale, or for the psychological variables which can be expressed in terms of intensity, we go for the rating scale. Okay, so the next question is that how do we decide now what are the strength and the limitation of using interview over observation in case of the agricultural research. Okay, so now interview and observation, both are the part of the this any type of like social scientific research. Okay, so now observation, okay, observation has the much more broader implication than the interview. Okay, so if you remember, okay, I told that any research, whether it is an social scientific research, or whether it is carried out in the laboratories, or it is an experimental research, or whether it is an export research, okay, observation involved from the beginning of the research to the end of the research. Okay, so when you are formulating your hypothesis, observation is important. You can use it as a process of the data collection also. At the end of the study, when you are dealing with the result, okay, after maybe your statistical analysis, then also drawing implication, it involves the observation. Okay, that how other people or how other previous researcher, okay, they observe the phenomena, what is my, and how we can, what conclusion you can draw from the present findings, like that. Okay, so now in case of the interview, interview already told that it is one of the mostly used method, or mostly used method in case of the social scientific research. Okay, observe interview as well as the questionnaire. Okay, so now interview have the certain strength. Okay, certain strength above the observation process. Okay, like interview method. Okay, so as you can interact with the you can interact with your respondent. Okay, so there is a chance for the better quality of the data. Okay, and case of the observation, okay, which depending on the type of observation, like if it is a participant observation, so there is always chance for the that in the process of the doing the participant observation, there is the there may be the lack of objectivity. Okay, or interviewer may or the observer may draw certain particular biases or certain particular preferences. When it is non-participant observation, you are not a group of the part. Okay, so it is possibility is there, some of the group dynamics you will not be able to understand. Okay, and again if you come to the advantage over this interview over the observation method, generally interview generally give you the much more structured data, which can be easy to numbered, or which can be easy to tabulated. Okay, which and for the further statistical analysis. But when it come with the observation, okay, so whether it is an depending on the whether it is an structured observation, or whether it is an unstructured observation, that have the much less structuredness than the interview schedule questions. Okay, so obviously when your response are much more structured, which is generally happen in case of the interview schedule, okay, so you generally have the better chance for the further statistical treatment and drawing the further important or you can analyze the data better. Okay, that can be subjected to a number of statistical method which you actually helps you to draw the better conclusion. But I am not telling that the observation is the in case of the observation, okay, so you are not going to draw better conclusion. Okay, like certain of the in case of the certain situation, okay, so observation over have advantage over the interview. Okay, like there is a most of the cases, okay, like if I take the example of the agricultural extension research, so as a part of the as a student, you generally carry out research as a part of your MSc and PhD. Okay, and one important problem you always face that the peoples are or the target audience you are approaching. Okay, so it is very tough to actually collect data from them. Okay, so there will be high non-response rate also, or there will be lack of interest from the part of the respondent also, because ultimately, okay, so they may not directly think into, or also there may be the doubt on the part of the suspicion on the part of the respondent also, that possibility is there. So when you are dealing with this possibility, it is always better to use the observation method than the this interview method. Okay, but interview method, as I already told, okay, that it has the certain advantage over the in certain situation. Okay, and also like you are dealing with a, maybe you are trying to find out certain socio-economic aspect or socio-psychological aspect of a tribal or the tribe people who are secluded in those area, who may not have the exposure to the modern communication process. Okay, so in those particular cases, okay, if you want to have the better insight, okay, so the observation obviously have the certain advantages. Okay, but the interview may not be suitable for that particular situation. Okay, but interview, because of its this inbuilt structuredness of the data, or the possibility of the better statistical analysis, okay, or the possibility of the better clarification of the research questions. Okay, so that's why the interview methods are mostly used in case of the social scientific research or the agricultural research. Okay, but whether you are using the interview or whether it is any other method, observation will be the part and parcel of the certain stages of the research process. You cannot avoid it as a part of the your research. Okay, so I will come to the last question, that is the okay. So in what scenario is content analysis is better method than the traditional survey research? Okay, so now content analysis and survey research, they have the totally different methodology. Okay, so like survey research, we generally deal with a sample which is selected from the population, and we collected first-hand data from those particular population. Okay, so in case of the our agricultural, or in case of the agricultural extension research or social scientific research, okay, so in case of the survey research, we select a number of people from our target population. If you are dealing with the farmers, so we select a representative sample of the farmers. If you are dealing with the farm women, we select a representative sample of the farm women from our total population, and we generally proceed with the taking the first-hand information about their socioeconomic status, about their psychological disposition to a particular construct, like that. Okay, so on the other hand, okay, so here mostly we deal with the primary data. Okay, so on the other hand, content analysis is not a direct way. In case of the content analysis, we generally, instead of asking or instead of getting information from the your respondent directly, we generally look into their communication which is already there. Okay, like instead of, like, if you are trying to look into maybe the same example I will take. Okay, that you are trying to look into the attitude of a group of farmers in a particular area towards the farm bill. Okay, so you can actually directly ask them. Okay, you can go for the survey method of the research. Okay, you can design a particular questionnaire to elicit particular information. Okay, and on those particular construct, or maybe you can decide that this particular construct is very much controversial in nature. Okay, people, maybe that there will be high non-response rate. Okay, so that is alternative method, is that you can look into that communication which are there, like when this farm bill was already in the process of the passing. Okay, so people were talking in the different forum. Okay, so you decided, okay, that instead of directly asking the opinion of the farmer, or directly asking the psychological this exposure of the people towards the psychological effect of the people towards those particular construct, you will go for their communication analysis. Okay, so in case of the content analysis, we analyze the communication which is already done by the target respondent. Okay, so here in this case, okay, maybe the different farmers are talking into the Facebook about the farm bill, or the maybe if you are trying to look into the opinion of the students toward this new education policy. Okay, so in that cases, you can look into those communication made by these particular students in certain forum, or that is written in the form of the chat and all those things. Okay, so in that case, you can content analysis you can take up. Okay, or you can look into, or you can use the content analysis as a process of the method. Okay, so it is much more suitable when there is a chance for not getting the answer directly, or maybe there is a better chance of the in-depth information or more truthful information when you actually indirectly look into the communication rather than directly asking your prospective respondent about their opinion. Okay, so in that particular context, the content analysis is much more better. But you have to remember, okay, in case of the content analysis, you have very limited information you can actually come out with. Okay, so the survey questionnaire, which is much more elaborated in nature, much more structured in nature, okay, it generally give you the more in-depth understanding of a particular situation. While the content analysis, which is based on the communication or secondary already published information, okay, whether it is an communication between people, whether it is an autobiography, whether it is a newspaper report. Okay, so it can give you the broader aspect of the broader feelings of this particular construct, but it actually cannot go in depth into the mind of your respondent. Okay, so that's why I am not telling that the content analysis information is it is inferior. I am telling that the survey research is much more rich in terms of its depth, in terms of the quality of the information, in terms of the how much reliable or the relevant those information is. Okay, so those part is there in case of the traditional survey research. But there are certain situations where this traditional survey research may not be suitable, as I already told. Okay, so in that cases, we can use for the content analysis. Like maybe you are trying to look into the mood of the nation, or maybe you are trying to look into that what is what will be the thinking or the vision of our leaders who are leading these countries about the maybe a certain aspect of the economy, maybe towards the agriculture. Okay, so in that cases, it is not possible that you will interview each and every MLA who are part of, or representative of you, or maybe the member of parliament. Okay, so in that case, it is better to look into their communication, look into their interaction in the parliament, who can analyze it for any cue to this particular issue, or towards the policy indication towards the agriculture when you are looking into that particular part. Okay, so those situations are okay sometimes. Okay, actually in this particular situation, you have to go for there is no other way than rather than using the secondary data or the content analysis type of method. Okay, where this traditional survey research may not be possible to utilize. Okay, so it depends on the objective of your research. It depends on the feasibility of whether you will be able to use that, or those particular interview method is feasible to administer. Okay, so in that cases, we can go for the content analysis. Okay, so that was the last question.
Yes, sir. You have answered all the queries raised by the students, sir, in a very descriptive manner. Thank you so much, sir.
So it will be much better if someone only one student was present. Okay, so the session will be much more interactive, or it maybe much more interactive if someone was there. But anyway, so I think the query raised by the students, okay, I tried to answer it on my best. Okay, so if they have further query, their forum is always available there. They can put there. Okay, we will answer, or I will answer those particular query along with the supporting material if they needed in a much elaborative manner. Okay, but as always, so all the slides there, I think those are available in the forum itself. Okay, lectures are already available. You can look into those lectures again and again for any clarification. So the team of the IIT Kanpur is there. Okay, I am also here. Okay, so you can put it always in the forum. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And then our TS, Ms. Priyanka, Ms. Shalu, would you like to add any points you would like to share? Whatever sir has discussed, would you like to share anything?
I think.
Hello, sir. Sir, I think sir has already discussed everything. I do not want to add any extra point. If still there are some query, we'll sort it out on the forum itself.
Definitely, Mishalu. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I also say the same thing that already sir have answered each and every question in very descriptive manner. Other than that, if there is any queries left again, we will be answer that questions in the forum also in regular way.
Definitely, Miss
Thank
Priyanka.
you.
Yeah. So shall we wind up now, sir?
Okay, Muraliji, so I'm thankful that you also gave the time, okay, for guiding us through this particular process. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable time. Thank you, TS, Miss Shalu, and Miss Priyanka. So now we are going to end this session. Bye, sir. Bye,
Yes.
everyone.
Bye.